Welcome to Professionals and Coffee, a volunteer collective for brewing networking opportunities. I'm Carolina Salinas, founder and host of this initiative. In this episode, Professionals and Coffee, we will talk about finance, impactful work, and how important it is to invest in yourself with Urmi Hossain, a full-time employee at the finance industry, a mentor and VP for education at Toastmasters, and as a co-host, today we have Kirtana Suresh, an aspiring communications professional with a postgraduate degree in public relations from Seneca College. Welcome to Professionals and Coffee.
Welcome to the coffee chat with me. Your journey and story is such an inspiration, and I'm sure many young professionals and women will benefit from knowing more about it. I'm glad I have this opportunity to sit down for this coffee chat with you. Thank you, Carolina, for this wonderful opportunity. So, my first question to you, Urmi, you have a very dynamic and diverse career palette that speaks of all the success you have faced. It must have been a very interesting journey to have reached where you are right now. Can you tell us more about how you started and what has inspired you along the way?
Yes, it'll be my pleasure. I have a bachelor degree in finance, and I've done my bachelor degree here in Montreal, Canada. And funny story is I was never interested in studying or working in finance. It was never crossed my mind. And finance used to be my minor. So after basically taking few finance classes, I just fell in love with the subject. So I decided to make it my major. And I remember enjoying every single class that I took. I remember enjoying my lessons, listening to my professors, taking the exams. And then I graduated. And upon graduation, I was struggling like many to find a job. I never had an internship. So I did a little bit of networking, and I finally landed a job in finance. And I started my career at a finance company, which was based in Boston, but they had a few offices in Montreal. And I worked as a client support administrator. And after 2 years, I decided to change gears and do something different. So I touched the compliance sector. So I worked in compliance for 4 years. And I was basically doing a lot of KYC, which stands for Know Your Client, AML, which stands for Anti-Money Laundering. And I did that for 4 years. I did more than 4 years. And while I was doing this, I was also looking to continue further learning. So I wanted to learn, and I started my designation with the CFA Institute. So I have recently completed my CFA exams and received the charter. And while I was doing this, I was like, okay, I think I know what I want to do. And I wanted to work in portfolio management. So this is what I've been doing right now.
So it's very rare that people know what they actually want to do. Your entire story is so it tells how clear you were from the very beginning on what you wanted to do. It's so nice.
Yeah. I think I had my ideas very clear, and I continued on this path, and I finally reached my end goal.
Oh, very interesting. I think finance is like that, right? It doesn't like seem interesting from the outside, but once you are in it, it's just the most amazing thing that you would be doing as work.
Yes, for
Yeah.
me, yes.
Okay, so my next question is, so I'm someone who also thrives on doing that, doing work that makes an impact on society, but it isn't very easy to make yourself visible in, an area like this. So what advice do you have for women like me who want to do meaningful work and contribute to the society?
So I do a lot of volunteering job. That's something that it's in my nature, just to help out and give back to the community. And I think when you find something meaningful, like you just have a passion to work towards it. I think for when it comes to this, you have to find a niche, and you have to find things that represent you and what you stand for. So for me, like, women's empowerment has been something that I've always wanted to work on, and I was like, I want to give it back in a way. So I joined few organizations that basically are in line with my own values. And I think when you find something like that, I think you feel like, working for this, you feel like giving back, you feel like creating time to work towards some of these things. And I think especially for a lot of people who don't have any type of experience in certain fields, I think having volunteering experience, it just shows that you have a devotion towards something. And I think it's also very valuable job, and it's also very recognizable. Like, even though you don't get paid, a lot of employers look for these things in a resume, because it just shows that, okay, you don't have a passion for, like, you have a passion for other things outside of your regular job. So I always highly recommend people to find something that they really like, causes they support, and just find something in that field.
Okay, that's very interesting.
Now I have another question for you, Urmi. Can you tell us a little bit about your project where you are a mentor for women who want to work in finance?
Yes, so I am part of an organization called 100 Women in Finance. And basically the organization it's based on having communities of female professionals who already work in the sector. And we basically offer a lot of services to young female talents who want to work and study in finance. And one of the services that we provide is mentorship services. So basically, women who are experienced already in the field, they get matched with, let's say, people who are in their 20s, usually women. And we basically get mentored with them, and we have this 6 months or a year of mentorship where we just basically answer the questions, we guide them, we help them to find a clear path of what they want to do. And within 100 women within 100 women in finance, we also offer not calls, but we offer webinars. We have panel discussions where we have a set of women, let's say 5 women from different sector of finance with different titles. And then we have an audience, and they can ask questions to them about their career path, if whatever they have chosen gives them a work-life balance, any type of certification they need, if they want to work in in the financial industry. And usually the audience, again, is young people, people who are studying university, people who just started a career and then looking for more insightful information. So that's what I do.
Oh, it sounds very interesting. It sounds to me like a finance mentorship networking support. So
Yeah.
it sounds very interesting.
Yeah.
Congratulations for that project.
Thank you.
So can you tell us more about your journey and imminent role with Toastmasters?
Yes, I joined Toastmaster in, I want to say, I joined in 2019, and actually it's hard to believe that it's been already 5 years. So I initially joined it because I wanted to improve myself, and I wanted to improve in a very important skill, which is public speaking. And I knew about Toastmaster from long before, when I was in university, but I wasn't as committed as I am right now. So I joined Toastmaster because I was I need to work on my public speaking skills. And one of the reasons why I started it was because at some point I was oh, what if I want to become a professor or a teacher, and I need to have good public speaking skills? And I remember when I went the first time, I actually told them, okay, I'm here because if I want to become a professor, I need to know how to speak. But then everything changed. I changed completely route. I just went to I chose something else. And then my end goal eventually was that, okay, I'm here because I want to give a TED Talk. And to give a TED Talk, I think you have to submit in your application a video of you speaking. So I joined Toastmaster as a regular member, but then what happened is they needed someone to be the VP of Education, because the VP of Education that we had, he left. And so they came to me and they were oh, do you want to become the VP of Education? I think you might be a good fit. So then I joined as the VP of Education, and that has helped me a lot to work on my leadership skills. And one of the things that many people do not know is that Toastmaster is not just about public speaking, but it's also about leadership skills. It's about active listening. It's about critical thinking. It's about organizational skills. So you have this bundle of skills that you learn just by attending this meeting. So these meetings happen once a week. depending on the club that you join. Some of them are like an hour long, some others are like 2 hours long, and you usually meet on a weekly basis, and each member has a role assigned and they have to deliver a mini speech or a speech, and then you eventually get like evaluated by the members. So it's like, again, you're part of a community of people who share your same interests and your same passion, and it's a very safe environment because everyone is there to learn. So even if you make a mistake, no one is judging you. So I've been part of this for like 5 years already.
Well, talk about destiny, right? Maybe you were destined to somehow be involved in the education field.
Who knows?
You play multiple roles, plus you also have a full-time job. I also see that you recently secured your CFA certificate, right? So did you study while you were working? If so, how did you handle and manage everything that you did together?
Yes, as I mentioned earlier, yes, I did do the CFA designation while I was studying. While I was working, and it was a long and tough journey because there was a lot of organizational skills that I had to use and a lot of time management skills, because like I would work 40 hours per week, and the only time I would study was after work or on the weekends. And the way I organized it is that I would basically study like right after work for like 4 hours. And then on the weekend, I would do like 8 hours straight or like 10 hours. And sometimes because there was so much information to like know, I would also study like, let's say in the morning while I was like in the metro or even my lunchtime. Because I think completing or doing the CFA, it's like doing a race, like you're competing with other people. And for you to pass the exam, it's like you have to beat the average. So that's how you have to like think of yourself, like you're like in a battlefield competing with other people trying to like get that prize. So it was a lot of work. It was a lot of no to distractions. It was a lot of no to my social life. It was like putting a lot of boundaries because people would not understand why I couldn't do certain things. And it was a lot of time management because I had to like find a way to stick to my schedule for like 6 to 8 months. I usually like would spend like 9 months studying for each of the level. But I'm happy it's done now because now I have those 3 letters next to my name.
Yeah, well, all the hard work pays off at the end. But
Yeah.
I'm sure you learned a lot along the way, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I enjoyed every bit of it, even though it was hard. But I think there was really a lot of satisfaction studying for the CFA exams. Yeah.
That's so nice to hear. Let's talk about the Canadian job market and your experience in it. So we all know that it isn't an easy one to prove oneself in this job market, let alone be given that first opportunity. So do you have any advice for the ones struggling to make meaning out of all the challenges that are arising right now while looking for work?
So we are in a very, I want to say, challenging situation. I think the macroeconomic aspect doesn't help because I know there is a lot of like people getting laid off. A lot of companies are just like firing people, and it's definitely not easy. So I think is in general for anyone looking for a job, I think there are a few important things that you want to do. And I always say like having a good LinkedIn profile with all your experiences, with all your accomplishments, project, I think it's something that helps because it's part of your personal branding. And having a personal branding aspect in your LinkedIn or just in general just really helps because I think when people are like searching for you, the first thing they will do is like type your name on Google and find out what you do. So it's important to have a good LinkedIn profile, a good personal branding presence is very, very important. I think to have like commitment or involvement with other things outside of your work is also very, very important because it shows the interest that you have. And I definitely think doing a lot of networking is an important aspect when it comes to looking for a job. I think it's very underestimated in a way because I underestimated how important networking was. And I realized that I didn't do any of it when I was in university, and I somehow regret it because I feel like probably would have helped me. But I think having some networking connection, it's not just for the sake of like finding a job, but it's also to learn from other people, the struggle that they went through, and to get some tips from them as well. Not like, okay, how, like if I want to work in this place, what do I need to do? Or if I want to work in this other place, what skills do they require? I think it's important also from that type of aspect. And it's not just for the sake of getting a referral, but I definitely think that having a good network of people is definitely something that will help you to, understand a little bit about the job market. I think the problem with networking is that a lot of people think that, if you have a good network of people, you have a guaranteed job, but it's not like that. You still have to like apply for jobs. You still have to, go through interviews. But I think having this as a base is very important.
Any person that I'm talking to is experienced. The first question I ask them is how important networking is. And you've already answered that, but I always have one question in mind when it comes to networking. Is it important that we choose networking based on someone's experience? Like, I've had people reach out to me because I have had gigs like in various fields, but I'm not pretty sure how much I can give back to them because I'm not very extensively experienced. So is it important to choose your networking options based on experience or based on the quality of what you've done?
I think you should connect with any sort of people with any type of backgrounds, because I think it just makes your connection a bit more diverse rather than just sticking to one particular field. Because I don't know, I'm just saying it because I had people who were, I think, a chef. I think there was a person who was a chef and he wanted to study in finance. So we're talking about like the culinary industry and we're talking about finance industry, which are completely opposite to each other. They have no correlation. But it was interesting to see that there was someone from that type of field who wanted to connect with me. So I think it's like, yes, networking should be like a win-win situation, but I think I can get a lot of benefits from it too, even though I'm not interested in, let's say, in cooking, but I think you still get a lot of benefits out of any type of relationship or any type of connection. So I think it's always important to connect with no matter who, basically.
Wow, those were really very helpful points. I took a lot of notes. So you are an upholder of invest in yourself, right? Can you elaborate a little more on this?
Yes, it will be my pleasure. So for me, investing in yourself is very, very important because I'm a big advocate of like self-growth, self-development. And I do think that there is no better investment than the one that you do to yourself. So anything that you can do, like take courses or work on your skills, read books, it will always be beneficial to you because it will enrich you from like different aspects. Like you become a bit more knowledgeable about different things. And this is something that I do very much enjoy. Like I do like learning. I do like taking courses. I do like trying different things. And it doesn't necessarily have to be related to finance. Like I do, for instance, enjoy things related to self-defense classes or, doing public speakings. And I think it's always important to have that type of background and knowledge because we live in a very dynamic world and things change constantly. So I think the more you know, the better it is because it might just it will help you to adapt yourself in different environments. So that's why I always highly encourage everyone to just invest the time that you have in yourself through learning.
Yeah, I think it also contributes to our personality development. Right?
Urmi, is there anything else that you would like to add to this coffee chat?
Probably the last question, which is to invest in yourself as much as you can. Like you are your biggest asset. So why not take the time to really just learn, buy books, like find educational content. I think there is nothing like you're not losing anything and you're not hurting yourself by just learning. So instead of watching, TV or scrolling on your phone, do this.
Yeah, I agree with you. And more in this industry, in any industry, it's really important to know different aspects. So, well, thank you so much, Urmi, for taking the time and talking about your journey. We are so glad to have this opportunity to have interacted with you. And last but not least, thank you, Cortana, for co-hosting this coffee chat with Professionals and Coffee. Any social media that you both would like to share? Where can we find you?
Yes, of course, I have my LinkedIn profile. It's called Urmi Hossain. I have a YouTube channel called Urmi Hossain. I have an Instagram account called Urmi, and I also have my blog called myways.ca.
Okay, thank you, Urmi. And what about you, Kirtana?
So you can find me on LinkedIn too, with the name Kirtana Suresh. I have my blog, which is called Box of Festivities. Well, I have two blogs, so I just got confused. Yeah, you can look at my blog and my LinkedIn profile. Those two are really good.
Okay, well, thank you, everyone. Everything we do here works because of you guys. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel and podcast platforms and join our social media networks. Click the link in the description below this video or podcast. And please join us to do your own virtual coffee chat as Kirtana did today. And I hope you enjoyed our discussion and learned a lot about finance and the importance of investing in yourself. Thank you and bye for now.